I've never been this concerned about false information, misinformation, disinformation, pure lies. And we no longer have an administration that is interested in the slightest in correcting them.
In a media landscape where opinions and misinformation drive profits, some would say fact-based news is dying. But is it really?
There are still excellent news organizations that do their best and have the resources to do well. And then there are organizations that I wouldn't trust to tell me what the weather is. I'd run to the window.
Dr. Larry Sabato is the University Professor for Politics at the University of Virginia. He is also the founder and director of UVA's Center for Politics. As a political scientist and analyst, he often provides commentary for major news outlets. At a time when trust in the press is at an all-time low, he says media networks are not the only ones to blame.
It's up to the individual to make a judgment, and of course that's the problem. Lots of people can't make that judgment or won't make that judgment, and they simply want to be reinforced in the beliefs they've always had, even if the facts don't support those beliefs. And that's frustrating, and it's very damaging to a democracy.
So right now we're seeing the Trump administration attacking trusted media outlets, criticizing unfavorable reporting as fake news, and rescinding White House reporting credentials. What impacts does this have?
It just reinforces party lines because Democrats know what's being done. They keep up with it. They're suspicious of Trump, and that's an understatement to begin with. Republicans are perfectly happy to get a more sanitized version of the news or a version that is spun in their direction. Now, I'm not going to say Democrats never like that either. They probably do under a Democratic administration. But Trump is an extreme example. I think the Post had a total of around 30,000 lies that he personally told in his first term. It's unbelievable. And yet it's real. And there are people who just eat it up. They believe anything he says. They swallow it whole. And how are you going to influence them? Because they simply reject any information that dear leader has not provided them.
Without traditional fact-checking, social media can be dangerously polarizing because its algorithms fill people's feeds with content that affirms their existing beliefs. Compared to Democrats, Republicans are more trusting of social media as a news source, but less likely to trust national news outlets. This is the first time in U.S. history when social media is the most used news source, surpassing print, TV, and online news sites.
If I could go back in time and uninvent something, I'd pick social media. I know that we would lose a lot, but a lot of what we lose would be bad. It has made everything so much worse. It depends on whether you have the good sense to follow people that you trust. That doesn't mean they never get things wrong. Everybody gets things wrong, but the best people correct what they get wrong. They try to make sure that people who got the first false information get the later accurate information. How many people on Twitter do that? It is hard being a good citizen. It really is. In a democracy, we have freedom of expression, freedom of choice in what we choose to believe. And it's vital that we use those opportunities well.
In the digital era, people experience a constant flood of media. It takes effort to sort through the noise and be properly informed. So how can we teach people to be well-informed citizens?
My Center for Politics, from the very beginning, it's a little over 25 years old, has been dedicated to improving civic education. And that's what we work on, providing free lesson plans and free participation devices and free everything to kindergarten through senior year in high school, and also college courses if they request. They didn't have the money to pay for real civics. We were providing it for free. It was a great deal for them. Now, because our title is Center for Politics, they won't even touch it, many of them. We can't get them to use it anymore because a parent or 2 or 10 will complain. And that's where we are. Even knowledge is questioned if there is any partisan interpretation, even if one party is right about X, and no party is right about all things. They don't want to hear what the truth is. They don't want to hear the facts. They want to hear what their party says. They want to hear what their leader says. And this is destructive. There's some individual responsibility here. And it goes back to civic education. What have they learned on the way up? What have they been told on the way up? Have they been told the truth, or have they been fed a pack of lies? You have to use good judgment, and people have to have the basics through civic education to use good judgment.
In a blurry and flooded media environment, people must take responsibility for the news they consume and have the knowledge to protect themselves from misinformation. Stay tuned for the next episode in our 3-part series where we ask, is real news extinct? I'm Cameron Mottley, WUVA.